Grade A Customary Court sitting at Mapo, Ibadan has officially dissolved the 13-year-old marriage between teacher Durojaye Akingbade and his estranged wife Olabisi, citing irreconcilable differences, sexual denial, and persistent domestic unrest. Presiding Judge Mrs. S.M. Akintayo ruled on Wednesday that the court could not compel either party to remain in a union where love and peace had eroded. She ordered the couple to separate in the interest of public and private peace, granting a restraining order against Olabisi to stop all forms of interference in Akinbade's life. Akingbade accused Olabisi of abandoning her marital obligations, including refusal to cook or allow conjugal relations for 3 years. It's been one problem after another. I had to disconnect the electricity in a section of the house when she refused to move out, he said. Olabisi, also a teacher, denied the allegations, describing her husband as a serial womanizer and liar. He married 3 other women between 2020 and 2024 without informing me. He once claimed I gave him a sexually transmitted infection, she told the court. She also alleged his younger brother died of AIDS. The court's dissolution marks the legal end of a marriage once bound by love but torn apart by bitterness, mistrust, and unresolved grievances. Every Saturday, when you step out of your house, you see lots of marriages happening. I was at a very fine one over the weekend. And you see all the shenanigans that, that comes with the whole wedding setup, big plans, nice pictures, couples posing together. At the end of the day, the high rise of divorce has now become a thing of concern. What are your thoughts on this report?
Well, there's a clear difference between wedding and marriage.
Right.
How big your wedding is doesn't determine the success of your marriage, or doesn't determine how long your marriage lasts. One thing that couples fail to understand in marriage is compromise.
Okay.
There must be compromise for any marriage to succeed.
Okay.
Compromise in the sense that you must understand. I remember a marriage counselor once telling me that marriage is about 50-50. You are 50, your partner is 50. 2 of you coming together makes it 100. So know that your partner is 50% perfect and 50% imperfect. You are 50% perfect and 50% imperfect.
Right.
You bring your perfection, your 50% perfectness and his 50% perfectness comes together, you become 100%.
Right.
So there must be that accommodation that this person is still 50% imperfect, and that's where compromise comes in. You can't claim to know your partner. There are couples that have stayed as long as 20 years, 30 years, and when you meet them, they'll tell you, this person still exhibits some characters that I didn't know he or she was like this.
Right.
So you must always make. She mentioned cases of mistrust and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's bound to happen. But you must make that accommodation. This person can disappoint any moment. But the question is, has he or she changed? There could be mistakes, there could be errors, there could be challenges, but has the person changed? As long as the person has not changed, compromise should come in and settle whatever issues that may be there.
Thank you so much. Now, I want to cite a related question, a related story to this. I did talk about it a few days ago. So a husband and a wife, they've been married for a while, and they've been trying to conceive. Right. In the act of trying to conceive, it's taken 12 years or thereabouts, and they have not been able to have a baby. Now, the wife decided to, shut the door as regards, since the baby is not coming, she lost her enthusiasm for coitus. And now the husband went ahead to have an affair. If you look at the story, the man said over 3 years, he was not getting, any conjugal coalition. So he decided that she's no longer interested because she stopped cooking. He even went ahead to say he disconnected her side of the house. Now, you have talked about compromise. I want to gather your thoughts as regards. What do you think people should do in a case where their partner refuses to have coitus and that same partner complains if they decide to go outside? Do you support that if you're not getting any, what's it called? Let's call it conjugal bliss for now. Do you think it's a good idea for the person to step out to say, okay, let me get some out there? Or do you think it's a worthy approach to say, okay, if we can't fix this, let's call it a day?
I like the last statement you made. If we can't fix it, let's call it a day. It means that there are chances of fixing it.
Right.
For someone to say, I'm not going to do, why? That should be the question. Why? Sit down, talk about it, try and fix it.
But the lady did cite her reasons. He was having affairs. His brother had STDs. He said she gave him STDs. Lots of, back and forth
now,
with this report.
As regards, now we are talking generally,
right.
But as regards to the story, even the judge cited that they are irreconcilable. So at that point, then everybody should part ways. But however, I maintain that there is always a solution to every challenge.
Right.
However, where a compromise cannot be reached, because you need to let some things go, I need to let some things go.
Right.
Where we decide to stick with whatever our ideology and our beliefs are, I'm not letting go, you're not letting go, then we move our separate ways.
But doesn't that still bring us back to where we started with this discussion as regards, why do you think these divorce rates have become rather high and alarming?
Divorce is unavoidable.
Okay.
Divorce is unavoidable. Now, let's start with what brought us together. And that's where the issue starts from.
Okay.
If we don't have a good interest that brings us together
in the first place,
once whatever brought us together begins to fade, I lose interest in you. Most times it's not because of the issues, it's because the partners have lost interest in each other. The issues are just an excuse.
Right.
The issues are basically just an excuse. So that's why, you see, marriage is people don't take marriage serious. I wake up, I see a fine girl, I feel we are we are compatible, we jump into it. Oh, the man of my dreams, the woman of my dreams, she looks like what I have been wishing for, he looks like what I've been wishing for. But you don't sit down to understand the tenets of marriage. And you jump into it, and definitely you jump out.
Well, you talked about jumping in and jumping out, and it all came to my mind. Before people get married nowadays in Nigeria, other than even the people that get married in court, I think they have their pictures outside for a while. I think that is probably enough talking time to cancel yourself to find out if this is what you want to do. I mean, you can't take your bath and go to court and register today and marry tomorrow morning. I mean, that is not how it's supposed to be. Brings me also to the point of this counseling in church. Is it doing anything for marriages? Those counselings are usually up to 3 months long for some places even 6 months. But then we now still have this high rate of divorces. Do they teach temperaments in these meetings? Do they teach, the core of the things that you might expect to happen in marriages? Because it's not always going to be sweet. Sometimes it gets sour. Do you think all of that has been taught during these counseling sessions?
Okay, thank you for asking that question. Yeah, it does, but it doesn't do enough. If we come from the Christian religious background about marriage, this is my stand and my belief. You don't marry who you love. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why when you look at our fathers, our grandfathers, divorce at their time was far less than what we are seeing now.
You think that is because they did not marry who they
love? Of course, they didn't marry who they love. It's about responsibility. Marriage is about responsibility. And coming back to the Christian faith, you love who you marry. It's as simple as that. If you do that, there won't be any issue. You are obligated to love who you marry. Now, let me give you a typical example.
Okay.
I'm a lady, and I want to love you before I marry you. There's nothing bad with loving someone before, but most times they don't understand what that word love is. Now, what is the love that the lady is talking about now? You're a handsome man. Okay, let's do it. I'm the guy. You are the lady. Now, I want to marry you because you are beautiful. You are tall. I like you because you are tall. My spec is tall, beautiful, dark skins. I'm not looking at the quality. I'm not looking at the character.
Right. You're not looking at the content.
I'm not looking at the content. Do you understand? And eventually, when we enter, and you see, one thing is, once a lady knows that you have marriage intention, they can pretend more than the devil. You're a lady. Did I lie?
Everybody pretends.
That's the thing.
Even men pretend.
Men pretend.
That is why some people get into the marriage and they now say, I did not know that his character was like this.
Beautiful.
I did not know that her character
Beautiful.
was also like this.
Beautiful. So that's the thing. People fail to look at the content, just like you said. They prefer the container. And definitely when you enter the marriage, the person starts manifesting. So, intending couples, if I should use that word or whatever, they fail to understand what love is all about. Like I said earlier, from the Christian tenet perspective, the doctrine is you love who you marry. Now, you marry someone that meets your interests, meets your qualities, meets what you want. Then when you enter the marriage, you are now obligated to love the person. But why we have a high rate of divorce today is that you love the person before you got married to the person.
And you want to know the person.
When you now enter the marriage and you feel like you don't love the person anymore, you want to walk away. You no longer feel that love is now obligated. For instance, when you have kids, you like them or not, your responsibility is to provide for them. Right. You don't have an option. That's the same thing with marriage. You enter a marriage, come rain, come shine. You are obligated to love your partner. What makes it difficult to love your partner is because the qualities you are seeing now is making it difficult for you to love the person because you didn't see that quality earlier. Right. Had it been you entered the union because of quality, not because of love, in quote, infatuation.
Right.
If you had entered into that marriage because of the quality, it will be easier to love. When you are blindfolded to love the person before you enter the marriage without the quality, when you start seeing the negative quality, you want to opt out. That's my submission.
Certainly. So now, since we are still under the religious perspective, I want to ask you one round question before we wrap this up. Now, from the religious perspective, should couples say no to sexual desires of their partner for the long term?
Before, during marriage?
Actively during the marriage.
Very wrong. It's against the scriptures.
So why then do people say no?
There are a lot of factors that play a role here. Of course, I believe you must have read stories or heard stories of people that come online to claim that they are feminists. But behind, they are very loyal and submissive to their husband. But they will come on the social media platform and start telling women, don't do this, don't do that. If you are treated like this, do that. But behind closed doors, they are not practicing the same way the same thing they preach. And people fall victim to things like this. So, it's wrong. You are not supposed to, based on not even based on any religion. I don't think any religion approves of that. But one of the challenges we are having that is causing these things is influence.
Okay.
Influence, friendship, hearing stories and you feel okay, let me try it. But it's wrong. It's totally not accepted. And like I said, I don't think any other religion tolerates that.
Now, for any partner in the middle of this, you are in a place now to advise and admonish. For any partner in a place of this, will you say a partner is wrong for going outside to seek redress as regards their sexual pleasures? Or do you think they are wrong for going outside to seek redress for sexual pleasures if they are being, as the report said, denied or starved of that in their union?
Okay. I read this book, really opened my eyes. That was before I got married. Love, Sex and Lasting Relationship. Chip Ingram, the author.
Okay.
I read it like 10 years ago, thereabouts, yeah. And he explained how cheating starts. He says, apart from men, just like the woman said that the man is a serial womanizer, yeah, there are men like that. But there are faithful men that such thing can happen to. And he explained how cheating started, especially to nice, faithful partners. He said, when you fail to acknowledge a virtue in your partner, knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, and your partner is desiring that that virtue is appreciated, and you fail to do that, and the person of opposite sex outside identifies that and start appreciating that person, the
that
person,
value that
that
you're
value,
ignoring.
yes, the person will unconsciously, innocently get attracted to that person. And as that appreciation continues, feelings are built, and before you know what is happening, affairs starts. Now, as regards to your question, it's wrong, but it's inevitable. It's wrong.
All right.
I'm not justifying doing it outside, but where you have tried to talk to your partner, you have explored every other means to settle whatever the problem, the issues may be, and it fails, I won't blame you. But I'm not saying it's not wrong. It's just like somebody that the government has not done the needful for, haven't provide better amenities and whatever and whatever and whatever. Just like the stories we normally hear, they say that a child that steals bread because he's hungry, nothing should be done to him. He didn't steal out of anything. He stole because he's hungry and he needs to eat. That's the same thing. He's stealing wrong, yes. But are you going to blame the child for stealing bread because he's hungry? No. That's the same thing in this case. What the partner did by going outside the marriage, is it wrong? Yes. But are you going to blame the partner for going outside? No.
Right. Thank you so much for that.